think of the children.
Hey everyone, it's the Friday Night Rant, and I've got Chris Castleman joining me. We should have Steve Hammerson coming on pretty soon, and Carol Yardley. We're going to be talking about some of the school districts around the state. Carol Yardley, of course, is from the North Bend School District, and Steve Hammerson is in the Roseburg School District, both of them board members. And they are being forced to make some decisions that go against their morals. It's very sad what's happening to our school board members here, and we're going to talk about that. But first, I've got Chris on, and Chris, what have you been up to lately?
Not much. Putting together events for our new Friends of Coos County Republicans headquarters group. We've been doing lots of stuff. We have a Wednesday meetup from 7 to 9, and then we have this is the coffee meetup in the morning from 8 to 11. We'll do that tomorrow. We had a great turnout last week. Probably 25 people over the course of 3 hours stopped by, which was awesome. Like, holy crap. Really appreciate everybody who came. And like half the people brought snacks. We had breakfast burritos and pastries, and it was pretty cool. And
I had a feeling it was going to be successful because our people are morning people, and that's when they're rejuvenated and are up and running around. I'm one of those. I'm a night owl. I'm just the opposite. But yeah, a lot of our people are definitely morning birds.
well, and we want to have it every week. Not that you don't have to come every week, but having it in one spot, everybody knows where it is, what time it is every week, and I think word will spread, and it's just a cool opportunity. Like so many little. I think there was like 3 or 4 main little groups, and everybody was talking about a different topic, brainstorming ideas. It was really cool, and I don't think we normally get that opportunity at meetings. When there's like if it's like a 2-hour meeting and it's about a specific topic, we don't really have that time to brainstorm and just spitball ideas, and it was cool. So I'm looking forward to it again tomorrow, and we just had one on Wednesday. Wednesday night was awesome. People can ask me more questions that I can answer more in depth than I can in a meeting, so
Yeah. And joining us is Steve Hammerson and Carol Yardley. How are you two doing?
Good.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, I'm good. I'm just trying to. My phone keeps. Oh, am I?
your audio is fine. Your video is pretty laggy, but nice to see you guys.
Yeah, he just muted himself. Oh, there you go. You unmuted yourself.
Oh,
I gotta
sorry.
learn how to do that in real life.
Yeah,
We
need
need
that.
filter.
Carol, what have you been up to?
Well, not a whole lot. I was helping our friend Marty out yesterday. He got himself a flat tire from Wednesday night, Chris?
Yeah,
We sent poor Marty to get pizza, and
Yeah.
he gets a flat tire like a couple
And
blocks away.
there was no tow trucks, no cabs, nothing available for him, So
he drives his Prius like it's a goat. You know what I mean? It's like he thinks he's got a Hemi under that thing, and it's amazing the things he can do in that little car. And yeah, so him hitting the curb and nailing that tire, that doesn't surprise me.
And it wasn't even the tire he hit the curb with. It was
really?
the opposite. Yeah. So it was really bizarre. But
yeah, I heard he had to spend the night over at Diane's. He was stuck in town.
Yeah.
I guess James McHenry, he said half of my secret identities were there Wednesday night.
That was funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's funny. So if you want to know who James McHenry was, just show up Wednesday night. All of them showed up. So
I think we had at least 4 of his identities in one room. It was pretty funny.
That's funny. He says, I took the pizza from Marty and left him stranded. And Phil Taylor says, "Was nice seeing you Wednesday, Marty." And Marty's on his way to California right now. He's certainly not watching this video. In fact, he's traveling quite a ways to Los Angeles, and he's got a house there. So he enjoys it. He's I don't know. It's what is that called? Someone who leaves every winter, a spring bird, a summer bird.
Snowbird.
No, we used to call them snowbirds in Arizona.
Yeah, snowbirds. So they
Dude was at the headquarters all day. I think we got there at like 1, and him and Diane were there all day. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. The day before, he had gotten there at 11. I showed up at 2, and we were there till 6. So the day before, he even pulled a long shift. And we've only been doing the 2 petitions for the last 2 weeks, and we haven't had anyone show up, hardly anyone. There's been 1 or 2 visitors. But I think with the other petition, when it drops, it's going to be a huge pull, and we're going to get a lot of people into the headquarters and bring a lot of people in. And I think your Saturday morning thing is going to be a big hit.
Yeah, I mean, people have been signing them when they come to the events. So I think if we just focus on events and having the petitions just there, I think people will come in. Like, people will sign them there at that time. Stuff like that. Having flyers. I got a printer in there this week, so I'm going to start printing things. Maybe put together a little newsletter publication that people can grab and take out, and maybe they put it out at their business. Maybe I can print a couple of them for them or something like that. So yes, Ivan, thank you for the hat. If you guys need powder coating, check out his business, Hawker Boys. I don't know how to. Do you have an online thing?
I don't. I'll find it here in a second. But no, I don't. I was looking for Steve Hammerson. I don't know what happened to him, and I'll have to send him a text message. Steve, where are you? Steve, where are you?
Headquarters is cool. We've got other people, other groups having events there too. We have a election integrity group who had a meeting there on Monday, and then they're going to have another meeting later in the month. And tentatively, for the next 2 months, our main meeting is going to be on the 3rd Wednesday. So I believe it's November 19th and December 17th, something like that. So the 3rd Wednesday for the next 2 months, because normally we do it on the 4th Thursday, right? But this year it's Christmas and New Year's, or Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we can't do it. So we'll do. We'll put out notices for that.
So you were just talking about an event. Let me see if I can get it up here on screen share. Nancy had sent me this event, and I wanted to share it.
I think it's the 20th. It's a Saturday. Yep, 22nd.
22nd. Okay, yeah, it's Saturday, November 22nd, 3229 Broadway. That's the headquarters in North Bend. And please come out, and they're going to do an express training in 60 minutes, hand count training. And it's pretty interesting what they do there.
Yeah.
Steve, you with us?
There he is.
I don't know.
Well, we can hear you. And
am I choppy still?
Your video is.
I might have to use my wife's computer. This doesn't seem to be working.
I wonder why. Someone's sucking up all the Wi-Fi in your house.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be right back.
All right. Totally get it. I got a wire going through my house right now. I got a wire going through my house right now.
That was weird.
That was weird.
It was you. It was like a little different you.
It was. That was strange.
It was AI Rob.
It was AI Rob, I think. But no, I got a wire going from my my router to my computer. I got a hard route.
I think it's feedback on Steve.
Yeah.
Am I giving feedback?
Yep.
Jeez Louise. So my wife turned off the Wi-Fi and thought that would help, but I guess it's not helping.
no. It's your audio is probably not going into
Your
your
audio
headphones.
is probably not
coming
going
out of
into
your
your
computer.
headphones. It's probably coming out of your computer.
Yeah.
Well, I'm on my phone right now.
Yeah,
Your phone.
your phone.
Okay.
So
We're
you
gonna
have
go
to.
to
So you have to.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, he's off there, and we'll get him back on. So we had some interesting things go on in the city of North Bend. I used to have a segment on the radio. I called it "What the Hell's Happening in North Bend," and we would always talk about the crazy crap that's going on over there. Carol, you actually live in North Bend, don't you?
Yes.
What's up with your city manager over there, or administrator, I should say?
Well, I think the city administrator and the mayor are just kind of showing some of their true colors lately.
Yeah.
So I just whoops. Okay, there you go. They went after one of the kindest quality people we have,
Mm-hmm.
with Michelle Roberts. And she was just responding to the confusion about the taxes, the property taxes, and how everything looked on the bill, and was concerned that it was possible that North Bend wasn't really clear in their communications, and they weren't. They it's a very, I realize it's complex sometimes,
Right.
how the breakdown goes, but that's also can be real convenient when you're trying to get something done that you want that isn't necessarily popular. And of course, my opinion on the URA is very low. Personal opinion. And let me qualify this, because this gets thrown in our face. Yes,
Yeah.
I am a school board member. I am not speaking on behalf of the school board. This is my personal opinion. If I don't put out a disclaimer come Monday morning, oh my goodness, you cannot believe what another one of the members said.
I was
And
going to
both
put that
Engelke and Mill Iron sound exactly like that. That was spot on.
Yeah.
On. Both of them.
So anyway, I just
oh gosh, we're not losing her, are we?
what's really
Oh no.
This is the glitchiest I think we've ever
Yeah,
had.
no kidding.
It's like someone. Is it Mill Iron?
I think so.
Did he just silence Carol Yardley, school board member of North Bend? Jeez.
He did. I think he did. Yes. He wow. Let me
The crazy thing that she's talking about, though, so you have Michelle Roberts, this North Bend school board member. She was commenting before it was before. Yeah, she's commenting on a post that somebody else made in a private group, and she's commenting on something. It's not her post. She didn't come out and say and she's doing it under her own name, personal account. And David Milliron decides to attack her using the city account, the city Facebook social media account, public account.
Well, this is what ticks
insane.
me off, is this North Bend Department of Corrections.
Because he's an asshole.
What an ass. What
he's a total ass.
And this is the kind of thing that he did when he used his position to coward cower the editor of the newspaper. Was it the editor or some in the reporter to get the name of a person who was writing under an alias criticizing the city? And he actually went out there and identified this person. And I thought, what a piece of crap. How dare you use your authority to cower someone into that position? And it makes me mad at the reporter that he was allowed himself to be intimidated by that fat bastard.
It's not just Milliron, though. It is Engelke as well. You think this is happening without her approval? You know what I mean? Like if she's, and the whole city council, anyone on the city council right now, if you don't agree with what's going on, speak up at your next meeting. Stop being a coward and speak up. And if you don't speak up, it means that you are involved in this. You are part of this because he's speaking on your behalf. Shit, if I was a city councilor, Rob, if you were a city councilor and this guy was doing this stuff, you'd march right in his office and be like, dude, you don't speak for us like that. You can post events and post, general messages from the city, but you don't attack somebody on our behalf. And, even if you're a resident of North Bend, he's speaking on your behalf. It's insane. But yeah, Jessica, man, the way they went after Susanna Nordoff, remember that?
Hey, hold on. Let Carol speak a second. I think.
I didn't even know she was still on.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Carol.
You can't see me, I don't think, but I can hear you guys. Jessica's right in the middle of this. Both her and David, they were very condescending and belittling to Michelle. And, the thing of it is even the school board, our members who are, let's face it, mostly left-leaning, all agreed that they were out of line and being very divisive and being a bully.
Yeah. Yep.
And of course, again, Michelle is the kindest person, God's ever created. And all she was trying to do was, this is confusing. Could we get this clarified more for the North Bend residents? And God bless her for that. And she gets nailed like this. It's outrageous, but they're just showing their true colors.
Well, let me explain to you where the problem occurred. And I know exactly what's going on here. I can explain it. I know why it's complicated. And I know what happened during the whole time we were negotiating back and forth before the vote. I'm going to put up her comments here and work with me a little bit because I'm going to have to enlarge this. On Thursday, North Bend School Board member Michelle Brown Roberts posted on social media that the city completely lied to get the urban renewal passed and asked, where's the property tax cut the urban renewal agency promised taxpayers? In edited versions of the post to a Facebook group with more than 51,000 members, she stated the city was not clear on how the taxes work and alleged that all they did was take one tax away and increase taxes on everything else to equal almost the exact same amount. In another Facebook post, she stated they completely lied to the residents of North Bend and to the school board before making, I can't read that last line there. Before making the vote, I think is what it comes out to. But here's the point is she's completely right that what happens is that when they had that tax for the urban renewal, the city had a tax. That tax, when they passed this plan, went away, but it still had to be paid for. So it didn't go away as in the tax disappeared. It just went away for the taxpayers of North Bend, the city payers. And it went into the debt of the urban renewal that now has to be paid for by the other taxing districts. So when she says that they took away the tax for the city, she's right. But that tax was then added on to the debt of the urban renewal, which is paid for by the other taxing districts, which she's absolutely correct. And the city was never very clear on that because they didn't want to have to tell everybody that they're screwing over the county taxpayers by allowing the North Bend taxpayers to put their tax debt, on the backs of the county taxpayers. And that was never really clear at any of the meetings, even though I had spoke about it several times and tried to explain to them. The city made it convoluted, and they even made it convoluted in their response because it says these statements are inaccurate and do not reflect the public record, and our intent in responding is not to single out an individual, but to provide residents with verified information and sources so that they can confidently understand what changed and what did not on their 2025 tax bill. Although school board member Roberts apologized during a phone call with the mayor, and she shouldn't have, and city administrator on Friday, the city believes it has a responsibility to clarify the public record because her widely viewed post made while identifying herself as a North Bend school board member, which she didn't, have influenced community understanding. Note on Facebook edits, even when a comment is edited, Facebook preserves a public edit history. Anyone can tap the 3 dots on the comment and select view edits history and see the original wording of the subsequent edits, which who cares? It's her right. But here's the one thing that gets me. The city communications have consistently said 2 things. The North Bend UR special levy would be removed from tax bills beginning this tax year, saving property taxpayers more than $3,000. That is correct, but here's where the deception comes in. Urban renewal does not increase property tax rate. It reinvests parts of the growth in local property taxes from participating taxing districts back into North Bend to improve housing, streets, utilities, parks, and downtown. And what they mean
And ice
by
skating rinks.
what?
Yeah.
And
Ice
ice
skating
skating rinks.
And
Fake ice skating rinks.
Yeah, so what they
Plastic
mean
ice
is
skating
that
rinks.
that money was being paid for all the redevelopment, but it still has to be paid back. And they don't explain in this statement how that money's paid back. And it's paid back through the other taxing districts that the urban renewal leaches from. And that money comes from every single property taxpayer in the county. And that's where they're bullshitting us. And they're making Michelle feel bad because they don't want the truth to come out that this was a shift in the tax from the city to the county.
But you know what I really enjoyed about this? When they're saying their intent was not to single out anyone. So they use her name.
Her middle name too.
Yeah. I'm going, yeah, not your intent, but let me use her name.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
like she's in
I'm
trouble.
sorry. The whole thing was just so disrespectful to anyone.
It's crazy. Like, you guys are parents, right? When you're mad and you yell the full name of your kid, they are in deep
exactly.
shit. They're in trouble. That's what it's so condescending. And again, we're giving Milliron too much credit because you've got Jessica Engelke and all the other city councilors that are involved in this. And if you're not, speak up, use your voice, and you'll see more of their true colors. Because guess what? They'll come after you.
So more. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So more to the middle name. What's the Oklahoma City Bombers' middle name?
Timothy McVeigh. I don't know his middle name.
Oh shoot, I got the wrong one. But JFK. Almost any big assassination.
Oh right.
You always know their first name, their middle name, and their last name because they're in that much trouble.
John Wilkes Booth. Yep.
Yeah, I messed up with the Oklahoma City Bombers. I thought that was one of them.
JFK assassin.
I was having trouble remembering the name Timothy McVeigh. Yeah, boy, I haven't heard that one in a long time.
Yeah.
Who was? I can't remember the JFK. Jeez.
Does it John Wilkes Booth? Or no, John Wilkes Booth is what you just said.
That was Lincoln.
Oh man, we're gonna.
I'm distantly related to him. Don't tell anybody.
Hold on.
But no, that you had that graphic up. By the way, this is ridiculous, David. Like, come on, man. Like, this is so distasteful. Like, I get it.
Lee
It's
Harvey
Halloween.
Oswald.
Lee
There
Harvey
you go.
Oswald.
Should
you
I
had that graphic. You had
middle name?
What's that? Look up
Should I
David's
go
middle.
ahead and give them my middle name?
Yeah,
Don't do
sure.
it.
Why not?
At all
Don't
costs,
care.
no.
But no, you had the last part of that statement up, and it was talking about the things that the list of URA things, like essentially like streets, parks, it was a list of like 4 things, and nothing in that list included ice skating rinks or breweries. I mean,
Right.
if people look at the things they are doing with the urban renewal dollars now, they might have 20 years ago been doing streetscape stuff and parks and lighting and all that. Now, with David Milliron in the mix, they are doing plastic ice skating rinks. But isn't that insane? They go and they post these like tourism posts that try and attract people to our area, telling them that we have the only ice skating rink on the Oregon coast. It's a plastic synthetic ice skating rink. Like, you have people in t-shirts in the photo because it's not real ice. You guys are a joke.
I know, it's pathetic, and it's sad that they're doing this. And so, with Milliron, the guy has already won because he's going to retire. He gets a really big severance pay. He gets a beautiful package, retirement package. The guy wins, in the end. That's the sad part, is that he no matter what happens to him, I mean, unless he goes out and starts shooting up the place, he's really, nothing's going to touch him. And it just ticks me off that taxpayers' money is going for this. I'm sorry, what, Carol?
He got what he wanted.
Yep.
It's very
David
simple.
Allen Milliron. That's his middle name. Allen. David Allen Milliron.
David Allen. All right.
You're in big trouble, big man.
Just start referring to people that are in big trouble in your eyes by their full
All
right. Middle and last name.
David Allen Milliron. Big trouble.
And then on top
but
of
you don't
it,
need to do that with David Brocksmith, because isn't his middle name Brock, or is it not?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's his maiden name.
Okay. I was gonna say he's out in the open that he's in big trouble.
What did you say, Steve? What did you say?
Actually,
about
I thought Brock was possibly his middle name, but what I was gonna say earlier though is that when you guys were talking about the school board member Michelle, in that narrative, they were completely admitting like the powerfulness of the first headline, and the fact that none of it mattered. Like all the stuff on the back end doesn't matter. Whatever the first headline was matters, and that's why they got such a visceral reaction on it, is because they knew as soon as that first headline went out, it's like 7-page news to try to fight back against the narrative.
Absolutely. And no one's ever going to say, whoa, I think I lost Carol. Carol, if you're watching, just sign back in. I think you were having trouble, and I think if you sign back in, you'll reset. So Steve, we're talking about some of the things that are going on in North Bend, and I want to get to the school district here in a minute because there's a lot of things to talk about, plus the petition to recall the governor. I want to talk about that as well. But to continue up on this North Bend issue, I was trying to do a screen share here, and let's see if I got it right there. You saw this one where they were trying to, they were going after this guy who did property damage to the vehicles of the city. You saw this, Chris, didn't you?
Oh yeah. Yep. They got a video. It's like 5 minutes long. I don't know how he had that much time to destroy all those vehicles and no one was around. But I mean, maybe they're out on patrol and it's actually much easier to infiltrate and destroy City Hall than you think. Yikes. But he had free reign. I think he smashed every single one of their windshields and broke multiple windows at City Hall. I mean, yeah, maybe instead of building ice skating rinks and breweries, you guys should be focusing on security. All those grants he always brags about. David Allen Milliron brags about all the grants he gets. You didn't get any grants for security. You didn't get a grant for a fence around your police yard, and there were no alarms. Like I didn't hear any alarms going off in the video. But.
Well, what makes me mad is that.
Ice.
What'd you say, Chris? I mean, Steve?
Focusing on the wrong ice.
Yeah.
Well,
they don't want
the problem
they're
is
not that
here
kind.
is it makes me mad that they downplay crime in the city and they downplay crime when it happens to other people. But when it happens to them, it's like, oh my God, have you seen what they've done to the Queen? You know what I mean? And it's like, come on, give me a break. They're clutching their pearls. They're acting like little old ladies. It's disgusting. And they slam on this guy here who, he got taken off to the county jail. I bet he was released right away. It's sad. And they gave the number of times that this guy was arrested, not even arrested, but had come into contact with the police. To me, that in itself shows that the justice system has completely been sabotaged. And if they can't do anything about these people who are damaging the city, if they can't protect themselves, how are they ever going to protect us? And why am I paying city taxes for this, much less urban renewal, right?
It's crazy. I can confirm he's still in jail because the county has a new jail roster that's actually supposedly up to date, like live, and it says that he's in jail right now. So that's good. But yeah, for them to post all those statistics and be like, oh my gosh, he's had 31 arrests in North Bend since July. It's like, right. How many other people have? Like, give us the full set of statistics. How many other people have had that many police contacts or even remotely close? Like, give us a list of people who have had, more than 5 arrests this year in your city. Cause that's a lot, and give us the full picture, but they won't. Yeah. And just a couple months ago, they were posting that they've reduced crime, but in the actual statistics, that was the headline. But if you look at the actual statistics, their calls for service have vastly increased.
Yeah.
They're liars. They're absolute liars. David Allen Milliron and Jessica Marie Engelke, you're in big, big trouble.
I have to admit, I do like the fact that we have AI and the things we. That was just a picture. The picture is true, but that's total AI. But that's what she was, that happened. Thank you. Oh, you're so wonderful. Let's have a hug. That was what's going on there.
Yeah. Jessica Marie Engelke. I hope she moves on to other things.
Yeah. I hope she moves on. My worry is that she's going to run for that boomer right position. I think she has a good chance of taking it if she runs for it. It would be her and what's his name? If he doesn't run and no one contests him, the guy who's running the Democrat, right?
He's actually a registered Republican, Troy Cribbins. His wife, Melissa Cribbins, is a Democrat, but even the Democrats don't like her. And they don't like Troy, so I don't know what he's doing, but they've got enough power in the elite realm to probably win,
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know we had promised not to talk about this guy, but I have to talk about this guy. And I didn't want to talk about this guy, but unfortunately circumstances has forced me to talk about this person. Let me play the video you had said. That's brothers.
Horrible. That's horrific.
Horrible. I don't know who made that, and I was like, and my eyes. I had to wash them with Listerine and shit. I was like, who did that? They violated our president. Oh my God.
Was that real? Did Donald Trump really show up at the Democrat headquarters for their meeting?
I think so. And during the nomination, and he got down to his tidy whities, and that was. But
he's such a moron. He bragged and bragged and bragged. For people who don't know, that's Sal Carruthers is the guy before Trump showed up. And he's this local sex offender. He tries to come after literally anybody who's on remotely conservative and speaks out against him or whatever. He's total nut job. But anyways, he ran for PCP, filed to run for PCP. He goes to the Democrat meeting, takes all these photos and brags that they welcomed him in with open arms and they accepted him into the party and they nominated him to be a PCP and all this stuff. And he met with Val Hoyle and all this crazy shit. And then it turns out that Drew Farmer and Dee Dee Murphy end up kicking him out of the party. Like they don't want him as PCP. He's obviously bad news for their party. He's a criminal. It's crazy.
But that's what we got to find out, is if he was actually appointed a PCP, and because that, how would you get rid of? But then how would you get rid of him? Is he would still have to go through a recall once he's appointed? Wouldn't he?
I'm not if you resign. If you just say I resign, there's nothing to do. But he did. I put the image is up there. He actually did withdraw his filing with the county, so he's not going to be on the ballot. And even if he was appointed, it sounds like they don't want him. And yeah, I've got a source within the Democrat Party that says it was Drew Farmer and Dee Dee Murphy, which is like, Drew Farmer claims constantly that he has nothing to do with the Democrat Party. He's not a Democrat, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, dude, come on, man. But no, the guy's disgusting. Sal Carruthers, he's a total whack job. He needs mental health evaluation and whatever. He's probably watching the show. It's like, dude, get a freaking life and move on. Realize like no one wants you. It's insane. And like, I'm not even saying that it's not a disagreement over like what he thinks or like his political beliefs, like whatever. Like I get along with Democrats. I really if you have a different view than me, that doesn't bother me at all. It's the way that he attacks people. He's insane. And he talks about inclusion and respect and dignity and all this shit. And you're a sex offender. No one on this podcast is a sex offender. I don't know sex offenders. I don't associate with sex offenders. That's absolutely foul. It's the foulest of foul crimes you can commit. And he tries to play it off like it was something from long ago in his past. And it's like, dude, you're given your day in court in front of a judge, and they determined that you are a foul creature and you need to be labeled as such for the rest of your life. And there's no way to sugarcoat that. Sorry, that was a rant. My bad. Isn't this the Friday night rant? Come on.
This is the Friday night rant. You're allowed to do that. And it was a good one to go on because I didn't really want to mention his name. But if Sal's watching, and he is watching, Sal, they're violating your rights. You have a right to be a PCP. And I think that you should run for PCP and you should run for county commissioner, Sal. I would support your candidacy for county commissioner under the Democrat banner. I support you 100%. Registered Sex Offenders United. Don't take this crap, Sal. Dee Dee Murphy is not going to be pushing you around. You really want to be pushed around by her and Drew? Don't allow it to happen, Sal. You got to take back your rights. So that's my message for him tonight. I thought you guys would like that.
You really should. Like, Sal, you could make yourself very useful if you turned on them. Seriously.
Oh.
James, he says you're a bad influence.
He also claims that like people slander him. It's like, it's a verified fact that he's a criminal. He's a thief and a sex offender. It's a fact. I've done my own research. I've talked to the state police and the Coos Bay police. He's a criminal. And he tries to say that that's slander to say that he is. It's freaking wild, man. I've
never found a better, more impenetrable defense than the truth. If you have the truth on your side, go ahead, say whatever you want. So, it's interesting that we had Carol here and Steve here because I was expecting two other people. It's weird how the Friday night rant ends up every Friday. It never is the show that I thought it was going to be. And I thought Michaela was going to be on here, and I thought someone else was going to be on here for Carol. And thank you guys for being on because that's what makes the show. But coincidentally, both of you are school board members. Carol, you're in North Bend. Steve, you're in Roseburg, the Roseburg district. And the thing is, both of you are now facing the problem of having to deal with boys in the girls' bathroom. Literally, that's what it comes down to, boys in the girls' bathroom. And I don't know which one of you want to start first, but where are you at in the process, and where do you think it's going to go? Steve, you want to take it first, or Carol? Which one?
We should try her talking first because I keep sputtering out.
Okay. I'll go ahead. Well, yeah, this was something we saw coming for a little while. And unfortunately, we are forced, because of Salem and the law, that we have to allow boys in the girls' bathroom. And so what North Bend has done is they have set up a separate single type of bathroom facility, so that you can go into one that is not where there's a group. It's just a single bathroom thing. And then we've also gone ahead, because you have the same problem then that's going to extend to the locker room. And what we've come up with, trying to be proactive on this for the benefit of the kids, and of course, I mean, as a parents would be outraged, is that the kids did not have to dress down and change for gym. So it's a personal choice. Unfortunately, we're forced, because all you get is it's the law. And we're whether we agree with it or not, we're forced into that position. So those are the kind of preventative things. Let's set it up where we have a bathroom where only one person can go in at a time, and the kids don't have to change out for PE, and hopefully control it that way.
But it sucks that you have to do this. It's almost like the book, The Crucible. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, about the Salem witch trials, where I think the guy's name was John Proctor. And in the end, they forced him to sign his name, confessing he was a witch. And then they still hung him. So it was like, no matter what you do, they're going to hang you in the end. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know what other schools have done. That's what we've come up with, which, for the moment seems to be the best thing we can do. We haven't had a lot of it. I think we've only got, if I'm correct, one young man claiming to be a girl.
I just
was
don't
gonna
get,
say,
like,
in the
I'm
North
not even
Bend
saying I don't get changing genders. Like, I mean, I don't get that, but whatever, you want to do that. But like, why do you have to then go into a different locker room? Like, say I changed my gender. Why can't I continue to go to the men's room? It doesn't make sense why you now have to go and change and get naked in front of girls. I'll never get over that. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. I mean, it's, I guess there's just some type of, I'm going to prove my point. And a lot of this is, the wonderful wokeness. And, to each their own. It's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, to each his own, but that's not really what it is. It's not to each his own, because you're putting young women in with
Exactly.
people. Number one, let's admit it. There's something mentally wrong with someone who thinks they're of the opposite sex that they were biologically born as. And so that there's a mental condition that's already going on. And then you have them in the locker room, men with young girls, young women. This is just not appropriate. And, I think if I followed, let's say the governor went to the restroom and I followed her into the restroom, the guards would say, well, what are you doing here? Oh, I identify as a woman. Well, how could they keep me out? Even though I look like a man, I dress like a man, I act like a man. I think the governor might feel a little uncomfortable me taking a dump right next to her in the bathroom. You know what I mean? I just don't think that would be something she would be very comfortable with. And yet she's requesting girls to put up with that very same action in their locker room. And it's just disgusting that this is allowed to take place.
Well, I think most people feel that way, Rob. about it. And let me please qualify. I'm speaking of my personal opinion. I'm not speaking about the school board. We are forced, though, into allowing this. It doesn't matter how we really feel. This is the law, and we're forced to do it.
And to Samuel Adams' point, Steve, can you hear me? Okay, so when Steve gets back on, I'll have him verify. This is the problem, Samuel Adams, is that if they vote against it and they vote no, and let's say the policy goes down and the school is then in violation of state law, they can be sued. And right now there's people, Dave Brown, who came to speak to us here in Coos County from the state Republican Party. He's the vice chair. He was on the Newburgh School Board District, and because of the flag policy that allowed them to fly the queer flags on the school, he decided that him and the school board would vote against it, and they got sued, and he's now having to pay for lawyers' fees and whatever punitive damages that he suffered. And we're talking over several hundreds of thousands of dollars that just average citizens are now having to pay to the state because they went against the state. So my question is do we allow them to get rid of these school board members by the fact that they're forcing them to make these votes by putting them in a stranglehold through the law? Or do we want them to stay on the board so that they can work behind the scenes to do what Carol and Steve is trying to do, and that's to minimize what this policy is forcing the kids to have to go through? And Steve, did you hear any of that?
Yeah, I've been trying. I don't even know if you guys can hear me at this point. You guys have been glitching out for like the last half an hour, and then my wife came in and tried to fix it. Okay, thumbs up, cool. So I have so much to say about this, and it's very difficult because it's been glitch, and I can't even understand what's happening. But so it's not even the real issue isn't even like, oh, well, my personal belief is a boy's a boy and a girl's a girl, and a boy should go into a boy's locker room or a boy's restroom, and a girl should go in a girl's locker room or girl restroom. The real problem here is that the school board directors, humbly saying, really have no power in this situation. The real power comes in the judicial system. And what needs to happen, just like in Fir Grove School District, is students and parents have to rectify this Title IX violation, which federally they view it as a Title IX violation right now. They have to rectify through the court system. So I've dealt with so many parents in the past couple of weeks, and Don and Carol Taylor, I don't disagree with you there. I validate that you feel that way. But really, the way that it needs to be fixed is through the judicial system. The people that I've dealt with are either, you have two people. I can explain it to somebody and I can say, hey, if I went out there and I said, you know what, I'm the chair of the policy committee. Guess what policy I'm implementing in Roseburg School District next week? I am going to implement that if you're a boy, you go to the boys' restroom in the boys' locker room, and if you're a girl, biologically, you go to the girls' restroom in the girls' locker room. Then what's going to happen? Then one of these parents that's all jacked up to be weaponized in the court system files a lawsuit. Then what happens? It goes to a liberal judge. Then what happens? Then we egregiously lose this court case because we are not complying with state law. Now that we have not complied with state law and we get slam dunked on in this court case, every single boy and girl in Roseburg School District or North Bend School District or whatever school district, because this is happening in every single school district in the entire state. It's not specific to Carol. It's not specific to me. It's happening everywhere. And the even crazier thing is we don't even know. A lot of times we don't even know. There are students that come in from another district. It's listed as Brienne. It's listed as female. We can't do a pants check. We're not doing that stuff. We're not doing pants checks in Roseburg schools. Imagine all the HIPAA and OSHA crazy violations that would go down. that's insane. We're not going to check all the kids' pants. So what if a student comes into our school district? We can't even tell that it's the opposite sex. It's listed as a female. It's listed as a female name. We don't even know. That actually happened in one of our situations where it was like this got brought to us and everybody was kind of like, huh? That person is actually a biological male. Like we didn't even know. Right. So this kind of situation happens over again. So I mean, I don't even know how many quote unquote transgender students that we have in our school district. I would say maybe like 4 or 5, it could be like 15. I have no idea. I really don't. So a situation like this happens when a student goes in and then they see something that they shouldn't see in that situation. Then they go, wow, that's completely out of whack. That shouldn't be happening. So I mean, really, the hybrid strategy, what you want to do is get a conservative school board majority, and you want to have a conservative superintendent. If you have a conservative superintendent and you have a conservative, like true conservative majority on the school board, then you can take all the horrible legislation, all of the horrible policies, all the horrible laws, all this psychotic effing bullshit, and you can have that majority and that superintendent deal with it on a hybrid basis and say, yeah, that's crazy, but we can deal with it and we can interpret it in this way or interpret it in that way, and kind of hedge the psychosis that's coming in from Portland and Salem and Eugene, right? And that's the real goal. And this is public school. It's not Christian school. It's not private school. This is public school. Okay. So we're going to have extra problems, extra issues that, we have to deal with, especially with state legislature and laws and stuff. I mean, it's like this student health survey, right? This thing came out a year ago. It was House Bill 2656. We went from Roseburg School District was like, yeah, we're not going to do that survey, waste of class time, whatever. Then they pass House Bill 2656. Then they say, hey, guess what, Roseburg School District? Now it's mandatory. Now you have to have your students take the survey. And this survey is asking all kinds of inappropriate sexual questions. It's asking like, do you identify as a demi boy or a demi girl? It's just all this ridiculous. Like our school board read through it, and each one of the directors after it was like, I want to puke. Why are we giving this to the kids? Like, this is gross, right? So we put a motion. If you look at our school board meeting, 11/13/2024, we put a motion on that. We read through this thing. We're like, we don't want to force this on our kids. We put a motion through. I even said in that school board meeting, this is ridiculous, disgusting. It was a waste of taxpayers' money. This $1 million that they spent on a third-party consultant create this survey could have been spent on summer schools. This is disgusting. Like we all just were like, hey, everybody, this is disgusting. And then we put a motion on the table and said, hey, the way that we're going to handle this is we are going to grab the survey, put it on our Parent Square app or whatever digital form we had, blast it out to all the students that it's supposed to go to, and then basically tell the parents, hey, you have to opt your kids in if you want to take this survey. And then the data, I don't even know where the data goes. That's a whole nother problem. So in Roseburg School District, the way that it goes is the survey comes in, they say, hey, you got to force this on your students. There you go. That's why I sent it to you. You got to force this on your students. And we go, we don't interpret it that way. We interpret it that we have to make it available to our students. So we make it available to all the parents, and then you have to opt in. This is the key. The motion that we put forth on that 11/13/24 school board meeting is the parent has to opt in to have their kid take the survey, right? In most other school districts, what they do, they had the survey administered during class time at the direction of the teachers. Survey was taken at the school, not at home. Parents have to opt out to stop their student from taking this. So it requires parental action to opt out of the survey. And so the survey is essentially forced on kids, right? In our school district, last year, we had 35 kids take that survey out of a potential 2,000 something.
And
so really,
this is
you want a conservative majority and a conservative superintendent so you can take stuff like this and go, yeah, it's psychotic, it's evil, it's horrible, but it's only going to affect our kids this percentage.
And it's sad that we have to do it that way. And that's Carol, let me unmute you. I'm sorry. I think I got you muted because it was.
I had to rant. I was digitally censured.
No, No, it was good. What I liked about Roseburg was is that the kids actually stood up, and I think that made a big difference, right? Like everybody
Yeah.
does harp on the school board, because that makes sense to like a normal citizen, like that you would go to the school board with this. But it's really a fight that I think the kids could fight, right? Like they did a walkout, didn't they? A bunch of kids did a walkout at Roseburg, and they made the news. And like I
Yeah,
think
and the big headline, well, the national headline was that you know, we were punishing the kids and saying they weren't going to be able to go to homecoming, and you know, that was the initial. You know, we were talking about initial headlines earlier. That was the initial headlines that jacked us, right? As they kept, and I was on social media just going whack, whack,
Oh,
whack,
wow.
like trimming hedges on
Yeah.
the bush, saying nope, that didn't happen, nope, that didn't happen, just over and over again. I had people just flaming arrows left and right, and I'm just like, nope. I'm like, it's the regular. I was like, not only do we say it's just a regular non-excused absence policy, that's all that's happening here, but on top of that, we actually had our principal and people from our district and administration and school board state to the community that we support our kids exercising their civic duty, exercising their First Amendment rights. It's like, this is a free civics lessons. This is actually awesome.
That's cool. And that's the way it should have played out. And like I said, they were unfairly targeting the school board without understanding the complexity of the legal system and how it had you in a vice. It literally put you in a vice. And Carol, how do you respond? Is that pretty much what you're now facing in your district as well?
Well, I did become aware of this letter. I'm not sure. I'd have to check where we are with that. But the thing of it is our hands are tied when something is forced down our throat from Salem. And I understand the parents going, what do you mean? You're the school board. You should be able to this or that. And our personal opinion doesn't matter. The state is making the rules. And it does tie your hands. Myself, it frustrates me. I think Salem personally is worthless. And I'd like to see the money not leave the area, you know? And let us as a community run our schools and fund them. But doesn't seem to happen that way. And
no, it doesn't. And it doesn't reflect the community around us. I think if we voted on that, I mean, if you ask the average citizen in Coos County, if you support this, I would imagine 70 to 80% would say hell no.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you could get them to answer.
This particular issue that Steve's mentioned, it's outrageous. I mean, it's totally outrageous. I'm surprised 35 kids even took it.
I got a question. Is there a law in Oregon against using the wrong restroom? Like, if say I'm going to a public, like a sporting event in high school, am I able to just walk in the girls' room? Like,
I
not
don't
wanting
know,
to do that, but it's like, how do you make that criminal?
There's actually 6 ORSs that have made that possible. And I should have wrote it down for tonight. I have the one ORS, the one that's the most important one, that literally just lays it out. It's just like, if you identify with a certain gender, you cannot be displaced from the bathroom that you identify with. It's
Well,
just
that's what I mean. Like,
how
would they determine that I identify? What if I just walk in? How do you
technically
call the
just
cop
say,
and then
this is how I feel today. I shave my face.
What if I just don't even answer?
Shadow.
Why do I
feel real
it's
feminine
like,
today. I'm gonna go in there.
What if I don't answer? How can they prove that I don't identify? How could they prove that I identify as a man? Just because I look like a man doesn't mean if what I identify as is the only thing that matters anymore in the state of Oregon, then how can you prove what I identify in if I don't tell you? Just because I look like a man does not mean I'm a man anymore in the state of Oregon. And that, I don't know. It's just a food for thought. It's just insane to me.
You know, I got a funny story. I was actually at the Seattle airport, and it was like a layover flight, right? And I didn't realize I was in Seattle. I wasn't, I was tired. It's like in between two flights. I think this was like about a year ago, and my wife's gonna have to remind me what trip I was on. But I'm at Seattle airport, and I'm walking through, and I'm just like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom before I get to my next plane, and I'm not paying attention, and I walk, and there's this like Hispanic dude, and he's sitting down, he's like looking at me, and he's kind of looking like I'm not paying attention, but I made eye contact with him, right? And I just go do, and I go to walk into the bathroom. I turn the corner, and there's like immediately like three women like turn their head and are looking at me, and I'm just in the hallway part. You know how it's just like an S, and you're like turn the corner. I had just turned the corner, and three women like look from the sink and look right up at me. I was like, I am so sorry. And I turned around and I like started moving back, and I'm walking out of the girls' restroom, and I make eye contact with this dude, and he's just sitting there like he's waiting for it, right? Like he's just like and then I'm like, dude, where were you? I'm like, you saw me. He's like, I didn't want to assume, man. And we both started laughing. I was like, go to hell, man. And I walked back into the men's restroom. I'm like, oh, this world we live in, this is horrible.
I can't believe you were judged. He didn't ask you what you identify as. He didn't know.
No, it was all comedy to him. He's just like,
But that's what I go back to. If any of these women legislators were going to the restroom and I followed them in, walking 10 feet behind them into the restroom, went to the stall right next to them, dressed just the way I am right now, I think they would have a problem with it. And as soon as the cops show up, I'm going to say, hey, today I'm a woman. In fact, I'm a regular old lady. What can I tell you? You know what I mean?
What if we do it?
What can you do?
well, if
Is
they're
there
not
a law
popping,
about loitering in a
this is
bathroom?
earlier in the
What if we just
podcast.
go
If they're not popping
in the
dudes with
women's room and
21,
film?
31 charges, they're not going to pop you for that. So,
Yeah. Good point. Good point.
Well,
Carol,
what
I'm
if we just
sorry
go
I'm
to the
having to
Capitol
mute you.
in
I'm
the
getting
restroom?
feedback on your microphone.
I don't know. We're all talking over each other.
Yeah, it keeps.
almost sounds like we're underwater or something.
Carol's microphone, when I turn her microphone on, you got your phone volume up?
Yeah.
She doesn't
Can you
have
turn your
headphones.
volume down? Would that help? Now can you still hear me?
Barely.
Okay.
And it's still got the wobble wobble.
So
you got to get Carol some headphones.
Is that coming through on the actual stream though? Like when people are listening to us, they're going to hear the whoa,
is
whoa,
it
whoa, whoa.
headphones I need, Chris?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. I will be sure I get headphones.
We will work on that. We'll work on that.
Get you an upgrade.
We're going to get through this.
We'll get through this. So hang in there because I want to talk to you guys about the recall that came up, and let's see if I have that here.
Actually, I'm gonna head out. It's 9 o'clock.
You're gonna head out?
I said I can only do an hour. I got a early start tomorrow, so I gotta get.
Oh,
going.
you got the coffee. So tell everyone about the coffee thing tomorrow.
Yeah, coffee 8 to 11 a.m. at the Friends of Coos County headquarters. I think I got a graphic here. There, it should be coming in. Yep, there you go. 3229 Broadway. It's behind McDonald's in the plaza there, near Perry's Hardware, Breeze Upscale Resale. But yeah, every Saturday, 8 to 11. You don't have to stay the whole time, but last week there were a lot of people there and they asked a lot of good questions. We had people asking about, how does redistricting work, right?
Yeah.
How are they able to make the districts in their advantage for the Democrats? Questions like that. And it's cool. We have enough time to explain all that and answer people's questions and have coffee and pastries and hang out. So hopefully can see you guys tomorrow morning.
All
It's
right.
coffee with Chris Castleman, a conservative from Coos County. Is
There
that
you go.
6
Lots of
C's?
C's. Yeah,
Wow.
That's awesome.
that's a lot.
That is a lot. That's
No more
very
C
amazing.
words after that. No more C words.
Yeah. Well, and I say conservative because I think a lot of people, if you say Republican, it just
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's
they're
so
like, what
much
kind?
negativity out there. But if you say conservative, it's more about like the values and less about the people. Like conservative is more about anyway, so that's what I'm going for. We're focusing on local stuff too. We try not to talk about state and federal politics because we can't really do anything about it. So it's the only stuff we can affect is local.
So one little tidbit I'd throw in there too, when you're focusing on issues, because I've kind of learned this through the school board, definitely focus on like what the people in power have control over and what they don't have control over. Because like I see like a lot of people get super fired up about something that person doesn't have control over, and it's like, well, that's not really a sticking point with them serving. Like if they're doing something that's like boosting their personal self-interest or their wealth, or not, that's something that's not ethical, and it's like they didn't have to do that, it's like definitely laser focus on that stuff. But it's like I found out, just lately through this transgender ORS, BS that we're going through, and it's just like, because I think I've rightfully gotten the short end of the stick this time, because I used to get mad at our elected officials for like stuff that really they didn't have any kind of say so or control over, and so I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, so I definitely got to take it on the other end.
I hear you on that. No, I try and explain. We had a forum, like a commissioner candidate forum, and a lot of the questions were great, but it was like, hey, that's not actually anything
That's
a
not my
commissioner
wheelhouse.
candidate, or like people will. We had our our party chair, our county party chair, go after a candidate because of her stance on abortion, and abortion's an important topic, but it's like as a county commissioner,
As a
she
county
can't
commissioner,
decree one way or another how
Right.
abortions are handled in our county. So it's such a stupid topic, honestly, but whatever. But hey, I didn't mean to just throw it up on the screen, but I did some research before the show. I was interested. I had this thought in my head, like, how much do we contribute to SNAP, to EBT, to the food stamps? And I did some research and put this chart together that kind of shows depending on what tax bracket. So this is based on household income.
Mhm.
So like I'm on that third row there, so 419 dollars a year. So that comes out to like $35 a month is what I pay to SNAP. So, like it makes me, like in high school, I did this thing where I sponsored a child with Compassion International. You sponsor like a kid in another country, and it's like it was at the time it was $35 a month, and it's like people don't realize that. And it's like that was opt-in. I decided at the time in high school, I had just gotten a new cell phone, and I was like, why do I need this cell phone that costs $35 a month when there's starving kids in Africa? So I got rid of my cell phone and I signed up for this monthly Compassion International thing to sponsor this kid. And it's just crazy here to be later in life, and like the government forces this upon you. They take it out of your paycheck to feed a kid in the United States, which sounds like a good thing. Like we don't want people to starve, but there's so many
Here's
more opportunities in this country, and it's like a permanent thing a lot of these people get on. It's not
it's a
like
permanent thing and it creates a cycle, but here's the number that is really important. This last number, the $419 that you contribute, how much of that actually gets to the person who needs it and how much of it is eaten up by administrative costs?
I was
and
just
how
gonna
much is
say
soda?
it's definitely eaten up. Have you seen that graph? They just came out with that graphic like a week ago. Your average SNAP benefit person, their weight, and your average non-SNAP benefit person, their weight. What do you think the discrepancy was? Over under
I
60 pounds.
Oh, that's a lot.
It
I
is a
want to.
lot.
I hope it's like 50 pounds. I would hope it's only like 10 pounds. Uh,
I
Delta.
think it's
What
just
is
under.
it?
It's just under. I think it was like 58 pounds or something. I didn't want to
Jeez.
go over
But
under 50 pounds and then be like over. But yeah, no.
here's this
It's because
this
they're shopping at 7-Eleven. They're shopping at convenience stores. They're going grocery shopping, you know, getting the worst possible nutrition, and then taxpayers paying for them to have medical problems. It's like, ugh.
But like here's this sponsorship form. So you can like literally select your kid, and then you can say, okay, I want to sponsor little Zeffy here. And now I guess it's gone up to $43 a month, but you can do it. And it's like, could you imagine if they did this for you? Like, can't I, in this day and age, shouldn't I be able to pick who I'm sponsoring in the United States? Like, shouldn't we have the photos of the people and I can pick which one looks like they need the most help? And
Right.
I guarantee you they're not going to look. I mean, these kids look like they seriously need a helping hand here. And it's just nuts. Like, and I'm not saying nobody on food stamps needs it. Like, I'll admit, I've been on food stamps before. And there was a time in my life when I really thought I needed it enough to accept that aid from the government. But I also know a large number of people in our area who are on these programs and the crap that they buy, and it's just permanent. It's
But
permanent. They're not trying to
just
get out
them
of the
eating junk
situation.
food. It's the fact that they're going to get cancer, they're going to get medical condition, diabetes, they're going to get all these horrible medical conditions. Like their standard of living is going to be horrible because it should be like a WIC card, right? It should be like if you're on assistance, if you're on aid, you can get bread, you can get eggs, you can get orange juice,
Essentials.
you can get, essential things that are required for your nutrition every day. You shouldn't be able to go to 7-Eleven and get Doritos and a Slurpee and just start living on that.
Well, and unfortunately, some of the people are just selling their food stamps. They'll sell you $100 worth of food stamps for $50. I had a lady just down from here come to me one time. She needed money and she said, here's, what I'd like to do. And I said, no, that's like wrong. But she had like $4,000.
Oh.
And I'm going, wow. That's a
Or you
lot
see
of
the people in the viral videos where they're getting cases of water, pouring them out, getting the deposit money back, and then going and get drugs.
Yep.
So, I mean, the people who need it, God bless them, and we want them to have it. Hopefully, they'll make good choices on what they pick. But there's a lot of abuse in this. A lot of abuse going on.
Yeah.
And no enforcement to stop the abuse.
No, it's
Sorry,
sad.
I didn't mean to derail your show, Rob.
We
it was
gotta
just
let
a thought
Chris
I
out.
had.
I thought
Hey,
you were
before
leaving,
that.
and then all of a sudden we went on this wild tangent, which was good. It was good. It was okay.
Chris, before I mute it again. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You're
Go
good.
ahead.
You're good.
All right. Here you go. Do we still need a microwave down there?
The last time I was there, we didn't have one, but I'll let you know in the morning. Or you
Okay.
could- I'm sure we
And-
could use one.
Elmer's ready to volunteer if we get the sign-up sheet.
To just like man the headquarters.
Sure. He loves that stuff.
Okay. 100%.
an
Yeah, no,
Elmer?
Yep. We have the Elmer.
That's cool.
Um,
The Elmer.
No, next week we're gonna start doing like more office hours. I mean, Rob and Marty have been doing it for the past 2 weeks for the petitions, but we're gonna try and start doing that. I'm just trying to slowly roll stuff out and instead of having it all at once, partially for my own sanity. But anybody's welcome. Like a couple people have keys, so if you don't have to wait on me to do it. I'm pretty trusting. I think we all are. So
Yeah, I think so.
be cool. I'd love to go down there with Elmer. Yeah.
There you go. He's your guy.
There you
Very
go.
cool.
I want to meet Elmer.
Well,
Come
you'll
on
have to
down
come
for
down
coffee
to the
tomorrow.
headquarters.
That's a long drive though.
Yeah.
We'll
Maybe I'll bring
to
Elmer.
that.
I'll bring Elmer some Elmers.
Yeah, there you go.
Favorite restaurant.
That's funny.
So I want to move on to the petition. So if Chris, you want to get out of here, now's probably the juncture to do it. I'll talk to you later. He was quick. You notice how quick he was doing that?
Yeah.
And Carol, I'm going to mute you. Unmute yourself if you need to speak, okay?
Okay, so I have a button to push here, right?
Yeah, you see the mute button? You see that?
There we go. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
weird. I think I have a delay, and she's got the wobble weird sound. What is going on with their technology today?
All right, I can't hear you. I muted you. So hang on. If you have something to speak, unmute yourself. If you can push the button.
Okay, I got it.
Perfect. Yeah, she was. It was so wobbly. I couldn't hear you guys go back and forth, even when she wasn't even speaking.
I've never
But she
heard.
came in.
Yeah, I've never heard like wobble mic stuff like that before. It's weird. It was even crazier than Marty's windmills on his laptop.
Marty's windmills on his laptop. I'll have to see that one.
Yeah, he had that
Hey,
whooshing noise.
no, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
All right. But I do have a question for you is your lovely wife who's so intelligent and she really she's good at catching this stuff. She's talking and these and I'm going to go through a couple of pictures here. She's talking about how if we don't end the whole bill, the whole tax package and not just the tax, that we're going to have problems. And it says the entire transportation package must be referred because Oregon has seen this playbook before and it always ends the same way. She talked to you about this?
Briefly, and she's 10 times smarter than I am. So half the time I'm like, oh, I just want to pound a rock on a wall. But yeah, I mean, really, the problem is that it's if you do a partial, essentially like recall of the situation, you're still allowing the framework to sit as is. So it really it's like you lose ground, you lose leverage. It's like it's a huge loss to not do a full repeal of the entire situation. Otherwise, I don't know. I play checkers, she plays chess. She plays chess. You've met both of us, so.
and hey, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. So it's yeah, over my head. And
Yeah.
but this was pretty straightforward when she started explaining it to me, and she was talking about the strategy. We've used it before on things like PERS reform, Oregon health plan expansion, all of that. We've tried to do things where we repealed it and it didn't work. And so if we don't do this, the current transportation package is built around a permanent shift. And this is the important part. And this is what's not getting repealed with the current repeal that they have filed. And this bill is not about a gas tax. It restructures Oregon's transportation funding model for the next 30 years. And it begins phasing out fuel-based road funding, phasing in mandatory mileage-based road usage charges, or GO, accelerating in vehicle data reporting requirements, which is scarier as hell to guys like me, and building the enforcement of surveillance infrastructure to track vehicle travel in real time. And this is not a temporary pilot. It is the foundation of permanent vehicle tracking taxation. And once the infrastructure exists, it does not go away. And this is kind of scary if this is true.
Yeah, so I mean, it just lays the groundwork for. I mean, so the real problem is your average Oregon citizen or voter isn't going to understand the complexities of the foundations that's being laid here. They're like, well, I don't see the house, and then the foundation's there, anyways. So I mean, that's the real problem, is that you can't really have concessions on these kind of battles.
No, not at all. Because if we leave that infrastructure there that's going to be created by the bill, even though we get rid of the upfront funding mechanism, the tax itself, you still have a mechanism on the back end that changes the way they're going to tax us and monitor us. I mean, this tracking thing, it says why a tax only challenge is a trap. If only the tax portions are referred, The mileage tracking enforcement structure stays. The programs and administrative authorities stay. The state becomes obligated to fund them. The state then declares a transportation revenue crisis and uses the crisis to, and these are the likely steps, mandatory mileage reporting, and this will be a road usage charge. Required telematics devices or tracking apps. Oh, that's great. That's what I need. GPS linked enforcement and tolling expansion and broader and hard to reverse taxes. And this is going to impact all drivers monitored and all the other things that these devices will keep track of. We will in essence be a leashed society. They will know everywhere we go.
Partial repeal is they checkmate and we go to the restroom until the next election.
So, and I guess my question would be then, do we have the repeal already written up? Because it can't be filed until the bill has been signed. So are we going to allow that bill, that repeal, to only have portion of the bill repealed, or are we going to have something better, I guess is the question.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a better question for my wife. I do know that if we did a full repeal and a partial repeal at the same time, you know how these things go with a statewide ballot petition or anything you need to get signatures on. If you have a confusing situation amongst both of them, it's probably going to be detrimental to them both.
Right.
So I mean, it's unfortunate and it's disappointing that because there's people that are pushing the partial repeal that actually have some influence and power in the situation. I would wish that they would have gone the full repeal route, but I mean,
I would like to find out the real reasons why they didn't. I mean, I think that would be an interesting story in itself, because there's no reason they shouldn't have gone for this. This is really goes at the heart of how we're going to be taxed and how we're going to be monitored in this country. And I don't know about you, Carol. Do you feel like you want to be monitored? You want to be tracked by the government all the time?
Now, did I do it?
You did it.
you're good.
Oh, okay, that's a miracle. No, not particularly. I think it's terrible to be tracked. I mean, it's coming. It's all part of what they want to do to control everything. It's all about control and pretty much always has been.
Oh man, this really stinks. I mean, I mean, we could get this repeal done. Say we got it on the ballot and we win, but then we have to deal with this whole back end of monitoring and the different tax structure. That'd be just absolutely crazy. Okay, here Michaela, she says the referendum is not final yet. We can encourage the petitioners to challenge the full package. That's what we should be doing. We should get the emails of every single one of the chief petitioners and send out a request for everyone to be sending, let's repeal the full package, because the back end of this package is much worse than the front end. We have to do an initiative to change the law back after the law cannot be put up for a referendum, because it's only got a certain amount of time before you can put it up for a referendum.
So what we got to get viral is we have to have a picture of Jim Carrey and Dumb and Dumber, and then it has to say hashtag. So you're saying there's a chance, and then get that thing to go viral with the repeal. Full repeal. So you're telling me there's a chance, and then chip tooth Jim Carrey.
There you go.
But it has to
wow,
go viral.
This is disturbing. This is so disturbing that this is in the whole entire package. I didn't realize how menacing of a bill this is. The freedom, why this matters. The freedom to travel without government monitoring or permission is one of the most basic elements of personal liberty. It is tied to economic mobility, privacy, employment choice, school access, religious participation, family life, voter access. Once travel is logged, priced, monitored, and permission, a person's fundamental autonomy changes. Not only does it change, it really doesn't exist anymore. This is
this is just
scary
almost like
shit.
a currency situation too. It's like trying to get rid of cash for digital currency.
Yeah. Which is a very bad idea as well. Which is very,
Yes.
very bad idea. Yeah, so Michaela, let's work on something here and get messages out to the chief petitioners and let them know that we want a full deal repeal. A full deal repeal. That's what we want. And because this is ridiculous. This isn't going to protect us from anything. And I am glad your wife was on board on this, because once again, I wouldn't have realized how intrusive. Wow, what an intrusive thing to find out where you're going. You know what I mean?
Hey,
that's
Ron,
what. Yeah.
I've got to sign off.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it, Carol.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Steve, see you later.
Nice to formally meet you, Carol.
Let me see if I can remove her. There you go. Thank you, Carol.
Well, so
And,
no joke. Like I say, I play checkers and my wife plays chess. She doesn't just play chess. She plays chess about 3 or 4 moves ahead. So, I mean, this kind of stuff that you see coming down the pike, yeah, contact that deal for sure. She sees, where this thing's headed 3 steps before it happens. And, I mean, it's just like the perfect example of all of this, in my marriage with my wife was her stance on vaccines. She was very outspoken and she was very skeptical of the myriad of vaccines that they were putting into infants at an early age. And this is, we're talking 12 years ago, when we're still all like, yeah, Obama's kind of ruining the country, but we're not really, things haven't gotten real bad yet, like post COVID bad. Like we had no idea back then. She's like, this vaccine schedule is insane and we can't be putting these many chemicals into infants, and this doesn't make sense. Like she was just on it. And and thank God she was, because my none of our boys had to go through any of the adverse side effects of all of the horrible chemicals that we have been pumping into infants for decades now, because of greed from big pharma. It's like it's as simple as that. It's just blood money. So
I've seen the new schedule for kids getting vaccine in Oregon, and I mean, it's like as long as my arm. I mean, we're going to be pumping all of this, and we're talking little bitty kids. You know what I mean? 40-pound and less kids. This is what we're doing to them is horrible, and I don't, whether it is or whether it isn't contributing to the autism, that's the rate of autism, to me doesn't even matter. Just the fact that we have to use such harsh caustic chemicals to may or may not kill some virus, which that's always on the other end of the question. Is it really working? Does it really work? I don't know.
Yeah.
It always
Like,
reminds me of
how many stories have you heard of people that have been, vaccine injured? And then how many stories have you heard, from the other side, where it's like, it's like, oh, thank God I took that COVID vaccine. How many times have you ever had a conversation with someone and they said, thank God I took that COVID vaccine? Like, it hasn't happened to me yet. Like, not once. I haven't talked to a single person that was like, man, the COVID vaccine saved my life. I have not had that conversation yet.
no.
And if
So
anybody
thank
that
goodness.
watches this podcast or in the comments knows somebody, tell me. I would like to hear that story.
Yeah, I heard. I mean, and then with the miscarriages, the increase in miscarriages, I knew a nurse who worked with newborns and their mothers, And she said there was a very noticeable increase in miscarriages that happened during the time of the COVID vaccines. And I don't know if we're ever going to know how bad it was and what the effects eventually were. Lenny says, I'm no expert, but my feeling is anything involving insurance and the government is a scam. And I've been saying that for years. I pay a shitload of money to my insurance company for my medical, and I can't afford to go to the doctor now. But my insurance guy, he's living large. You know what I mean? It just seems a little strange. We pay a lot of money to these insurance people. They have big buildings, they live in nice houses, and they drive nice cars. And here we are, can't even go and afford to go to the doctor anymore. And I know a lot of it is because of the government money and Obamacare that they're pumping into it. But I do agree, a lot of insurance is, well, it's bullshit. And it's just something not all of it. I mean, there are some legitimate insurance needs, but man, some of these insurance scams are just ridiculous. But I didn't bring you on to talk about insurance scams, my friend. I brought you on
You're
to
gonna
talk
get me in
about.
trouble at work.
I know. Oh, insurance is great. I love insurance. We should all have
No,
more insurance.
I'm not saying that. I'm chum at work. I'm at the bottom of the totem pole. You know, I had a guy that worked with me from New York. He had a New York accent. He was great. I worked with him for like 3-4 years. He had been with the company for 20, and he's like, Steve, he's like, shit rolls downhill, and you're at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, I've been there before a lot of times.
I like
Your
it
wife
though.
says, yeah, that's,
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to mention it because I don't know. But yeah, that was rough. That was really rough.
And that's what I'm saying. There were, on top of the elderly who died, and we all knew people who were elderly who, for one reason or another, there were a lot of people who didn't even pass of COVID. I think the stress of COVID really killed off a lot of the elderly. But then you were losing a lot of the unborns to this type of problem of the jab and having miscarriages through a pregnancy. So I don't know. No one's ever going to pay for it, so it doesn't really matter. But so do you think we can change Ed Deal's mind? Do you think we can get him to repeal the full package? Have you talked to him about it?
Well, he called me, about a couple weeks ago, but it wasn't about that. It was about all the crazy school board stuff that we've been dealing with lately. But, yeah, I don't
And by
know.
the way, I got to give Ed kudos for calling you, man, because that's pretty cool that he did that. What a stand-up guy. That was cool.
Yeah, for sure. Like honestly, if anybody can get me, because what we were talking about earlier, what this really comes down to, is one of us can take a stand, or a majority on a board can take a stand, against state law righteously. But it has to be funded. Like we either have to have somebody from the Trump administration, or a 501c that's got righteous cash to play with, to come to bat. Because like what would happen in Newburgh with Dave Brown, the ACLU comes in, AOC comes in, all the alphabet groups come in, and they go, the ACLU is sitting there going, hey, who's got $100 million? You have $200 million? You have $150 million? Who's got the hundreds of millions of dollars that's gonna, you know, rectify the hellfire that we're gonna bring upon you guys? We are gonna make you
Yep.
guys famous, and that's really what you're up against. And so the unfortunate truth is the end of that tale is just like the end of Dave Brown's tale. If you don't have the money to combat the big psychotic George Soros or ACLU funded psychotic left liberals, then you're not even in a real fight. You're just taking a righteous stand and losing everything, And so the end of that tunnel looks like everything you're fighting for, you get the opposite. That you just get
Right.
destroyed. Anybody that's righteous and conservative on your local school board, they're not going to be doing it anymore, and they're going to get replaced with woke people. And then you think the situation is going to get better from there, and then you have local court court case that's everybody, that's in the newspaper. Everybody knows about it. Oh, now you can choose whichever locker room or whichever bathroom you want to go into. That's what we do now. Look at this local court case that said that's what we do now. So, I mean, really, it's kind of, I almost don't want to talk about it too much in public because,
Right.
you might weaponize a bad actor to go, yeah, but fortunately, I think in some of the rural school districts in Oregon, we actually have, people that are smart enough to not take the bait and understand, like, I can only do what I can do in my capacity, and that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to protect these kids. And all this crazy stuff that's coming with this health survey or the state law that's saying all this crazy transgender stuff or tampons in the little boy's bathroom, all this stuff that comes down and they're like, this is what you have to do. We're not going to take that and weaponize it against the kids. We're going to shield that stuff from the
Right.
kids, because we
Right.
we have actually a membrane where we get to stop it and say, well, the law says this or that. Our interpretation, I mean, the health survey was a perfect example. Our interpretation of this is we have to make it available to everybody. In Portland, they would go, our interpretation is we have to pile drive this down all the kids' throats. So
Yeah.
it's like, really, if you have a true conservative majority on a school board, you have a true conservative superintendent, they can be the protection against the kids getting all that crazy stuff coming from Portland. But if you have the opposite, you get the opposite. Then you're going to get the, hey little Johnny, hey little Joey, let me explain to you what a cis man is and a cis woman is and why this little canister is on in the bathroom, and let's have this conversation, when it's like that conversation ain't happening in our school district.
And that's all because of interpretation. And if you didn't have someone there who was conservative to interpret it with the conservative bent
There's
or
a
a
little bit of
moralistic
discretion there.
bent, yeah, use a little discretion there. And you do have that discretionary authority. Use it when you can. But if you're not there, you can't use it. And if you have a bunch of lefties, and that's who's going to run, because if you're a conservative board and you go against state law like Dave Brown and crew, after you get sued, who's going to run for those positions? Certainly not Republicans, because who's going to go, oh, I want to step up to be sued next? That looked like fun. And so you get nothing but leftist candidates who are willing to go along because they think it's great to pass these laws. And in fact, they
Yeah, the law's
love,
on their side. They want to
yep,
enforce that stuff. In fact, they'll want to start pile driving it down the kids' throats.
damn right.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to beware of picking on people because they're voting for the policy. Yeah, a policy that's a state law. I don't even know why they even. Here's the question: why do they even? If you can be sued over this, why even make it a choice? What does it matter? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That pisses me
Well,
off. We vote.
I kind
for
of
the
don't know what
district.
you mean. What do you
Okay,
mean?
so all right, well they're telling you this is state policy that girls or boys can be in girls' bathroom, and you guys have to
Or
accept that
or as
policy,
state law. Yep. Yeah.
and you have to vote on that, right?
No. That's yeah, we don't get to vote on state. In fact, when you get sworn in as a school board member, you swear to uphold Oregon state law. Now, I've had conversations with Sam Frost about this a lot. There's a big difference between the Oregon State Constitution and Oregon state law, right? There's like this huge gap there, and they are in complete conflict with each other, especially
Yes,
on an issue like this, right? So it's like, and Sam's right. Sam's right with the Oregon Constitution. She's right with, um or that Oregon state law of saying that transgender privacy stuff is being completely violated. It is a Title IX complaint, and in my opinion, federal interpretation Title IX is on the right path. But I mean, there's in California, there's this lady, Sonia Shaw. I've reached out to her on a couple different platforms, and she's gotten like, I think it's like 15 different school districts on board with her and she's done these resolutions basically saying we agree with federal level Title IX interpretation. That's what we want to, and I think she's the chair of Chino Valley School District, and she's running for the superintendent of all superintendents. That's an elected position in every other state except Oregon. In Oregon, it's whoever Tina Kotek wants to appoint
right.
as her warhammer that's who that person is. But in every other state, that's an elected position. So she's running for that right now. So I give her a lot of grace. She's probably got a hell of a lot of stuff on her plate right now, especially going up to different school boards and doing what she's doing in California, because they're farther down the road of the burning bus flying off the cliff than we are. And we can kind of actually read the tea leaves on seeing where that's going to go. But yeah, I mean, they're putting up a fight, a legitimate fight through resolution, through you know, national communication that they're not going to comply with the state Title IX interpretations and stuff. But I'd be interested to see what road that goes down to. In a lot of the school board meetings that she's talked, she's just like, I don't care who attacks me. I don't care who threatens my life. I don't care who, like she feels the same way I feel. She seems like she has a network of people that have money, nonprofits, federal attention, where it's like she actually has this this Warhammer network of righteous,
What
conservatives.
state is she in?
California.
Yeah. Okay. So California, you're right. Yeah, that would be just as hard. I don't, unless you have a cash trove of money, it's in really huge, powerful sponsors, and that's why I hope, and Samantha even made the comment. I'm hopeful that we can do class actions eventually. I think Trump will open it up, and that's something that I'm looking forward to as well. I think he will. So here was the confusion that I had with the policy. I thought the school policy had to be voted on by the school board, and that was the contention. So there's really, the policy is basically given down to the administrator, and the administrator enacts the policy, and you guys didn't even vote on it. It was just enacted because the state law passed, and that's the way it was, right?
Well, I think the state law passed. Yeah, I think the state law passed in 2018, or long before I think even our superintendent was in our district.
Oh wow!
And so the only version that I've seen, I've only been chairing the policy committee for, I don't know, 6-7 months now. But the only thing and that's the only time I've been on the policy committee. My first 2 years, I wasn't even on the policy committee. But from what I've seen so far, it's just we have a bunch of different policies, whether it's, I don't know, pick a department, how we deal with parents, how we deal with students, how we deal with state law, how we deal with, legislation. It's essentially, most times we're changing a little like word here and a little word there to say, that's not really applicable. We're just doing some fine tuning, but the actual policy itself in its entirety, there isn't much changing happening. So you're talking about a bunch of policies that over time, there was probably an initial big swooping change when the state law went into effect, or when legislation went into effect. That probably changed quite a bit in the language in the policy. But in terms of me and the time that I've spent on the policy committee so far, it's just fine-tuning language of policy that we've kind of used over half a decade, and haven't really changed much. So the policy doesn't really drastically change unless the state law drastically changes, which happened way before my time on the school board.
So do you know when that change happens, is it voted on by the board, or is it just enacted in the school policy through the administration?
Yeah. So the reason that I think we have 8 committees, but the reason that we have a committee is to essentially provide the board a recommendation. So basically what happens in the committee work is, we'll go through the policy, we'll go through the language, we'll, make sure that everything in it is right, appropriate. Then there's only 3 of us in the committee, right? And then it's administrators and a bunch of other people. But then once we're done, we'll present a recommendation at a board meeting. So we'll say, we'll have the final policy language done, and then we'll send it out. Admin will send it out to everybody. Everybody will have like a week, 2 weeks to read it. if they have any concerns or they have any issues or say, I got a problem with this or I got a problem with that, they have, a week or two to say, I read it. I don't like this sentence. I don't like that sentence. And we can hash it out in that meantime. But then we just basically, 3 of the board members will show up at the board meeting and we'll say, we know you've had a chance to read this. There weren't any concerns or the concerns were addressed. Or if there are major concerns, we'll kick it back and we'll say we're not going to do a recommendation at this time. We'll just do some more committee work to iron these things out. But we'll just present it at the board meeting and say, this is the recommendation of 3 of our board members to enact this policy, good to go for this school year. And we have about, I think it's like 16 or 17 different policies that we have to churn out. And the real tough one this year was the cell phone one. So what Tina Kotek did was she basically said, well, some could interpret that she said bell to bell, kids can't have their cell phones at school. So when you get on school property, you got to put your cell phone in a Faraday cage, or you can't bring it to school or whatever. And then, when the bell's done, but their interpretation of that was instructional time. So our interpretation of instructional time, because we already had an off and away policy with the cell phone. So we were basically like, during instructional time, our policy is off and away. The cell phone needs to be, essentially separated from the person to the point that it's not distracting or becoming a distraction during class time, during instructional time. And that's worked really good for us. Actually, it's been, especially in the high school, giving the trust of the students, saying, hey, the mandate coming down that they want, to push on you is that you're not responsible enough to handle having a cell phone. And our communication to the students was, we actually trust you. We think that you can be a responsible adult. This is at least in the high school. You can be a responsible adult and make sure that your cell phone is not distracting you when you're supposed to be learning during instructional time. And that's actually been a lot more productive for us. And the students have done really, really well with it, amazingly. When you get into the weeds a little bit, is like middle school. That's kind of more of a rough area where it's like, there's certain points in the day where maybe it'd be better for them. Like lunchtime's an example. Like if they don't have their cell phones on, they make human connections, like good human connections, social connections that are a lot better than everybody being zoned out on their cell phone. So, and then elementary school, it's almost not even really a problem. It's just, it's really like a teacher telling a student, hey, you need to do this. They're going to be a lot more fall in line in elementary school than in middle school and high school, obviously.
Yeah, I personally, Steve, I wouldn't allow them little snot-nosed kids in middle school to have the cell phones.
Oh no, we have board directors that feel that way too. But my position, my personal position, when it came down to it, was, and this is, I was raised by a single mom. I married a single mom. There's a lot of families out there, a lot of broken families out there, where it's like that cell phone's a lifeline. And like, I'm not going to be the one to tell a single mom, you don't have a lifeline to your kid. When your kid's in public school, you don't have a lifeline to them. Like, I am not doing that. So it's like, I'm much more of the put the trust in the kids. If the kids mess up, then we go into the disciplinary structure. It's like, and at the end of the day, it's not the kid's phone. The kid's not paying for the phone. It's the parent's phone. So it's like, if there's a problem with the phone, then we just go, we put the phone in a Faraday cage, and then we contact the parent. We say, hey, there's a problem with the phone in school. Like, why don't you have the discussion with your kid about making this not a problem? And then, we'll move on from there. But it's your phone. It's in a safe place. You can come pick it up whenever you want.
Oh yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want you to damage anyone's property. Definitely not. But that, I don't know. It's just, I just remember my kid through middle school, and the middle schools were just really monsters at that age. But in high school, they start to mellow out a little bit, and I can understand rewarding them with allowing them to have the phone and then taking it away if they don't. I also think that would be one of the things that you would have over the middle school kids is, hey, once you get into high school, you get to have a phone. So, and it's, I don't know. I
Middle
think it's
school's
maybe
awkward
I'm
for
just
everybody.
overthinking. Yeah, school's awkward for everybody. It is. It's tough. I don't know. I see that. I don't know. They got so much of that computer, that you can learn through going through the computer courses and on internet. It just seems like, boy, if I was back at school, that's what I would have done. Just got out as fast as I can, and I wanted to get to work. Is really what I wanted to do. Let me read you this. I just got this from William Minix, Bill Minix. He says,
yeah.
I'm hearing, and he wrote this to Ed Deal. He says, I'm hearing noise that the no tax referendum is possibly being hijacked to a point it only repeals some of the tax bill. If that is so, the voters are once again being misled by a Republican Party that did the same crap to the fire hazard map. Is this true? And so we'll find out.
I
I
love Bill.
don't know.
He's got great passion, and
Yeah.
he's like us. He's action oriented, and he gave me the opportunity to speak in Salem at the last rally, which I greatly appreciate him for. Unfortunately, the person that spoke before me was like totally talking about vote by mail and pretty much said all the parameters and all the stuff about vote by mail. It was Rick Riley, chair in. I always forget. My wife's gonna kill me. It's either Washington or Clackamas County. But
Yeah.
I went up there to speak, and I was going to talk about vote by mail, and he talked about, and then I just focused on it, like really about like we're action oriented people. I'm like, the reason that me and Bill made a connection, and Bill made a connection with my wife, and the vote by mail state petition, is that we're action oriented. We want to do something, we want to get something done. And when I earlier in the podcast, when you're talking about you and Marty spending time at a petition booth, like those are the things that you got to focus on. You got to focus on statewide petitions, you got to focus on
Yep.
court cases, you got to focus, like, because obviously from our perspective we can't really do anything from even our House representatives and our senators can't do anything, and they'll even tell
Right.
you that they can't do anything, but that's one thing they can do, like what Ed Deal's doing right now. I heard Bruce Starr earlier in the year was talking about doing another statewide petition. Those guys drive a statewide petition, and they have the network, and they have the people, and they have the communication tree to do a hell of a lot more than your average, Joe, you or me, or whoever, doing a grassroots petition. So it's like,
Yeah.
man, getting those guys to focus on support of court cases and support of statewide petitions that are right, that we're like Bill's talking about,
Yeah.
or my wife's talking about doing the full repeal, like that's key, like that can actually get something done.
And I certainly hope they do it. I would really hate to see. And here's the sad part is if we only get a portion of the repeal, we're still going to have to do that because you still don't want to pay the tax. But then eventually we'll have to go back and cut out the other part of the system that recreates the system so that it's taxed by mileage. I don't want to be taxed by mileage. I don't want them knowing where I go. And people go, well, Rob, if you didn't go to places where you shouldn't be, then you wouldn't have to worry about that. Well, screw you. We all go places we shouldn't be. We all have things to hide. You know what I mean? And if you don't believe that, then please send me your social security number, your wife's maiden name, and the date of your birth. If you don't believe, you don't think you have things to hide, send it to me. I mean, come on. It's just, it cracks me up. We all have something to hide. We're all doing something that we don't want other people to know about. It's none of their damn business. You know what I mean? It just ticks me off, Steve.
Well, it all started with the Patriot Act, right? Wasn't Bush
Yeah.
responsible for that one?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the way they label these things too, the Patriot Act, we can spy on you. And they were even joking about it in that movie, The Departed. They're just like, oh, Alec Baldwin's like, oh, the Patriot Act, sweet. We can just watch everything they're doing.
In the Inflation Reduction Act.
Yeah, no, privacy is like, yeah. Privacy is not, I feel almost like it's not something our generations even understand anymore, because privacy's been violated so horribly that it's like, I don't know. It's almost like we've been groomed to believe that it's not even shouldn't even be an expected thing, but I don't know.
I couldn't agree with you more. And before I get you out of here, because I've been keeping you on here for 2 hours now. Oh, before I go, your wife's got a message. She says, I'm wondering if they can just reinstitute the tax in the short session, even if we get the referendum on the ballot. I don't know the answer to that for sure.
Mm.
I don't see what would prevent them from doing that. It's
Yeah, I
like
don't
Measure
know.
114. We win on Measure 114. We win in the courts. They can come back and reinstate the law. Just do it a little bit different, and they can reinstate basically the same law.
Yeah.
It's unfair because we're fighting they're using our money to fight us. It just ticks me off.
And they're also just like on a holistic level, they're just beating society into submission.
Yeah.
Because it's like if there's one thing that I've heard more than anything in the pop-ups and all the collecting signatures for Bill's petition and my wife's petition, it's just the general feeling of your typical Oregonian these days is just like, yeah, I think it started since the Cape Brown recall. It's just like, well, in the end, it doesn't matter what we do because then they're just going to find some other evil, nefarious way to, either pile drive this into us or sneak it around the corner. And I'm just like, every time I hear that, I'm just like, you cannot think that. Like, you cannot think in a defeatist attitude type of way. Like, you just have to have, like one arrow pointing one way and going, I am going to hit it. And don't focus on anything else. I mean, but that's better than apathy, I guess. At least someone that's trying is better than the apathetic attitudes that I've kind of seen
Oh
over
yeah.
time.
And that's just it. I mean, I didn't really think the recall was going to go anywhere, but it really pulled in a lot of people. They got excited about it. And we got a
Yeah.
lot of signatures on the end vote by mail because we had a recall. The governor signed right next to it, and people were coming in. And
I do want to clarify that's not over either. The
right.
recall is not technically over. So, if they do get a favorable case decision, they could get 30, 60, 90 days maybe to collect signatures again. Really, it's just on pause right now. So it's like all these articles are coming out and they're saying not a single signature got turned into the Secretary of State. They didn't turn a single signature in. Well, the Secretary of State and the liberal psychotic people that run this state can't be trusted, and so it's really and this is the same deal with, I would think, any petition. Those petition signatures are not going to get sent in until like the very end of the deadline. So I don't like I have no criticism for Bill Minix for going, our real shot at this is that after this pause, we get another 30, 60, 90-day window burst, and we can
Yeah.
just boom, hammer out all the ones that we need and get them, into the Secretary of State's office, just in that time frame where they don't have time to do something nefarious towards us.
If we get that during the time we have the tax repeal, yeah, I think we could do it because I think you'd get a huge boost.
Oh, imagine those two together.
Imagine those two together. Thank
Yeah.
goodness we have headquarters now.
Yeah.
And going back to Bill Minix, I'm not criticizing him at all. I think he did the best he could with all that he had. I don't think the Republican apparatus helped him out as much as they should have. I think there were a lot of people at fault because they just
Well, and
weren't
this was
interested.
his first go round with them,
And
right? We've
yeah,
had like 3, 4, 5, like this is our 6th rodeo, right? That was his first rodeo. So I think he
right.
handled it very well.
He did do a good job for his first, because people don't understand a statewide petition is an incredible feat to do. You're doing it right now. And
Yeah.
it's a lot of damn work. It's a lot of coordination. And no, I give him total kudos, and especially since this is his first time going around. Like I said, I just don't think that the apparatus that should have been there was there, and I don't blame him. I blame the people in charge of the party for not being behind him. I do also think that the recall petition, it's 16%, 15 or 16%. I forget. Maybe it's 15%. 15% of the signatures, you got to get 15% of the voters who voted in the last gubernatorial election, which is a really high standard. And you've got to get it within a very short amount of time. I think it's 90 days. I'm not sure what it was for the governor, but
I think
they
it was
don't
like
give
298,000 signatures in a matter of 90 days. And the state petition for end vote by mail is like almost triple that time and half the signatures.
Right. Half of those signatures. And it's the crazy thing is that was like 4,000 some odd signatures a day that you would have to get. And I mean, right from the beginning. So right off the bat, it was set up against you. So those recalls really suck. But I think if you had the momentum, like they have the apparatus that they have for the repeal, I mean, it's like you can hear the engines just being throttled back here behind the starting line, and we're ready to go. And so I wish that would have been the momentum more so behind end vote by mail, but as well the recall of the governor, and it just wasn't there. And I'm glad, thank goodness, like you said, Ed Deal and a lot of the heavy hitters came in on this and decided to pull together. And thank you guys.
And you also got to understand it's 10 times more complicated to explain to your average citizen the corruption and chain of custody issues in the vote by mail system than it is about, do you want them to stop taking all your money?
Yeah. Or do you want them to recall the governor? Yeah. It's a lot easier question. And they go, and vote by mail, but I like that. It's convenient. It's also convenient for the people who cheat. And then you have to go into the story. And I've told the story to the point where a lot of people signed it because they go, oh yeah, I agree with that. And so, but like you said, they have to hear the story.
It's a conversation. Yeah, for
sure.
So
it's a conversation that you have to have with people, unlike recall the governor. Okay, there's that petition. And then, the end or vote before tolls is the same kind of thing because they go tolls. They want to put tolls up. Tolls on the roads. And then you got to have that conversation. And it's like, it goes back to 2017 when they took away voter authority. And it's a much harder petition to do because you got to get into that in-person face-to-face. Excuse me.
Well, I got to the point where I would say this one's simple. It's get rid of the corrupt person. This one's more complex. It's get rid of the corrupt system. And I was like, if you want to have a conversation about the corrupt system, I'm willing to have that conversation with you. But I don't need to have a conversation about getting rid of the corrupt person.
That's absolutely it. But and then you got to explain, and yes, I'm going to use the corrupt system to get rid of the corrupt system. That's how insane I am.
Well, I wish there was another way.
I wish there was another way. And that's what we were literally telling them. And that's what, they go, but you're trying to end vote by mail using vote by mail. And I go, yeah, that is the irony of the whole thing. But unless you get this out in people's face, they don't realize the problem here. And the precinct voting, that has really helped us get a lot of people interested in becoming precinct committee members because they didn't realize the connection on the party level between the PCPs and the people who sit in the polling places on election day. There was that connection was lost, and the way it got lost was the centralization of the voting system through vote by mail. And of course, you know all this, but a lot of people don't.
Well, it's hard to explain just basic level stuff on, what a precinct committee person is and how the structure works, how it's supposed to work, how it actually works. You guys got Brainerd out there trying to be a tyrannical dictator, but actually it's not supposed to work that way. The body's he's just supposed to be oil in the engine, but he's acting like the captain of the ship. These are conversations that I have with my fellow school board directors, conversations I have in the public. When I have to explain to people, like a lot of people are just so used to the system working in its corrupt state for so long that they just go, oh, this is just the way that the system works. It's like, no, this is not the way that it's supposed to work. The people, like when you say we the people, That's where it starts. It starts with the PCPs. The PCPs dictate who their local board is. The local board dictates who the state board is. It should all be ground up. But they just think that, the tyrannical dictator of each county is supposed to tell all the counties what to do, and then whoever's in their pocket, and then whoever's senator is in their pocket, and then they're in each other's pocket, and then Land O'Lakes is telling us what we're supposed to do. And I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, no, Big Pharma is not supposed to tell you how to run the country. Stop listening to Big Pharma.
And that's why capitalism gets a bad name. And if it wasn't for big government, you wouldn't have corporations having this type of authority. And they don't put the two together. And once again, that's in a whole other conversation. And I want to thank you for joining me tonight, because it was thrilling. Is there anything else you'd like to tell the audience before I get you out of here?
No, I love spending time with you, so I'm glad I had another opportunity.
I enjoy talking with you too, and you really added a lot of context to some of the things we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks. And it was good to have you here to answer that question, because, I had Carol here, and I told Carol, I said, I should get you, Dave Brown, and her all on the same show together. We'll fix her audio problem before we do that. But because all three of you are now at the different levels of this policy and how it affects the board members, he's on the other end. He's been through the ringer. You're going through the ringer, and she's about to enter the ringer because they've already had a boy claiming to be a girl wanting to go into the girls' bathroom. So this is going to make news here in North Bend here soon. And we didn't even talk about that, but it would be interesting to have that conversation with all three of you together.
Well, it's like the ghosts of past, present, and future.
Yeah. Literally.
That would be a good Christmas show. You should do it in December.
In December, the Christmas Carol of how the boys wanted to be in the bathroom with the girls. Transgender Christmas, man. Transgender Christmas. Yes, that's what it will be. All right, man. I appreciate you being here, and give everyone a big hello for me, okay?
I will. Thanks for having me, brother.
All right. Take care, man. And that was Steve Hammerson. He is a school board member in Roseburg. And of course, he was not representing the school board, or was not on this show appearing as a school board member. He was appearing as himself, speaking just for himself. And Carol Yardley is the same way. So before any of you want to say, oh, how dare they go on and speak for the school board, nobody was here speaking for anything other than for themselves. Okay, this is a show for individuals, by individuals, with individuals speaking. But it's glad to have those people on. Thank you, Chris Castleman, for coming on. Thank you, Carol Yardley, for bringing all that information from the city of North Bend and the school district there and clarifying the urban renewal problem. Thank you very much. I want to apologize to anyone I may have offended. Sometimes it happens, and I hope I didn't put out any information that I shouldn't have put out. And if I did, I apologize. My mistake. And anyone who's watching who doesn't know what I'm talking about, it's okay, because it wasn't your information I put out. So I want to talk about my sponsors, because they are really good people, and I recommend them highly. 3H Tree Service for all your tree needs. You've got liability trees, the ones with the branches hanging over the eaves of your houses. They're hanging over your garage. Maybe they're hanging over your neighbor's garage or his car, and you don't want to be sued. So what do? You call 3H Tree Service. They'll come in and they will remove those tree branches or the tree. They will remove them with surgical precision, and they do it in really quick time and at a very good cost, and they'll clean up after themselves. So the only thing you'll see after they leave is a beautiful view where that tree used to be. But you don't have to worry about that tree, because they can come out and take it out. That's at 3H Tree Service, and you can reach them at 541-294-1800. That's 541-294-1800, or you can go check them out on Facebook. They've got all kinds of really cool videos on Facebook showing you what they do out there in the forest and on people's property, taking out those trees. They were out there. They were doing some logging. I saw. I don't know who they were logging for, but they're not 3H logging service. They're 3H tree service. Make sure you get the right people. 541-294-1800. And they do logging if you need some logging. They're just not logging. That's not their name. It's tree service. 3H tree service. Okay. Let's be clear on that. 541-294-1800. And of course, Tom and Gigs. I want to thank Shanna and Tim over there at Tom and Gigs for being the sponsor. They're wonderful people. You can reach them at 541-888-4660 for all your automobile needs. Is your car travel worthy? Well, if you don't know whether your car is travel worthy, don't worry. You can take it over to Tom and Gigs and they'll tell you if your car is travel worthy. They can also help you out with shocks or struts to get your car aligned. You need to get your car aligned, they can take care of it. Maybe you have a truck, you want a light bar, you want to throw on a side rail, or you want to put on a tonneau cover, no problem. They can take care of all of those things, all of your needs at Tom and Gigs. And you can find them at 135 South Shoneman Street in the Empire neighborhood. That's in the city of Coos Bay. And if you know where the Empire neighborhood is, then you also know where the car wash is, where they're located right behind. They're right behind the car wash in the Empire neighborhood. And you can call them at 541-888-4660. And they got some really cool stuff over there. You can get lift kits or performance accessories. That's the front of the store there over at Tom and Gigs. But they have some really cool accessories. They have some cars, RC cars, remote control cars. They have a good stock of them. I mean, they're the largest RC car dealership on the South Coast here. And as you can see, they got a great selection. Look at the size of that car. You wouldn't think it was that big, but yeah, it is. It's a pretty big car. These aren't the little RC cars we used to have as kids. Remember those kids, when you were a kid and you got those little RC cars, and then you put a 9-volt battery in, and within 6 hours, the battery was dead and you never played with it again because nobody could afford batteries back in the 80s. So that's not like this. We've got this vehicle right here, this RC car. It's a totally different kind of machine. It's really cool, and the kids will love it. If you want to get kids interested in a hobby where they use their brains, where they use their hands, RC cars are the way to do it, and a lot of kids love it. And they don't have just cars. They have planes, they have helicopters, and they also have Tannerite on sale. But remember, you must be 18 years of age or older to purchase Tannerite, and you will be asked to show ID. And also Herbal Choices for all your herbal needs. Herbal Choices, wonderful cannabis dispensary, the cannabis dispensary of my choice. In fact, I was enjoying a wonderful Mary Jones soda from Herbal Choices. One of my favorite. You can get this over there at any of their locations, or find out more about it on the herbalchoices.com website. That's where you can find out more information about this wonderful place called Herbal Choices. And like I said, yes, they have 5 locations, one in Charleston, one in Coos Bay, one in Bandon, one in Reedsport, and one in North Bend. And since I was selling the cannabis from the cannabis store, I like to sell you some abstinence. Try to abstain from one of those bad habits. You got some bad habits? Well, you need to abstain. Abstinence. It's really the way to go. It's not just say no. It's just say abstinence. Sometimes you got to try it. Abstain from all those bad habits. People always say, I'm addicted to this, I'm addicted to that. No. You have committed the same act over and over again to the point where it's become habitual. Now this habitual act is taking over your life. I'll give you an example. Looking at your phone. How many times do you look at your phone every day? Well, you need some abstinence. That's right. Just try a little. Abstain from TV, abstain from those electronic devices, abstain from all the wild things that you might be doing. You need to abstain from those things. Abstinence. I'm selling it. It's on sale today. And of course, Oregon's Firearms Federation. You own a gun? You don't have to tell me. I really don't need to know. I'll tell you, I own a gun, but it's none of your damn business. I really don't have to tell you, but I will tell you because I believe in your right to own a gun and my right to own a gun. And because I'm a selfish bastard, I'm going to fight for that right. And I hope you're just as selfish as I am. You know who's a selfish bastard? Kevin Starrett. He fights for his Second Amendment rights like nobody's business. And lucky for you, his Second Amendment rights are our rights too. And he's been fighting for this for a long time and doing very successful. And we have gotten a hearing. Boy, is that proper English? We have gotten a hearing. I don't know where the hell that came from. We got a day in court, the Supreme Court here in Oregon for Measure 114, and we'll get to, I believe they actually got to present the case today. I think that was part of Tony Aiello's Facebook page. He was talking about that. I'm not sure at what stage of the court process they are at, but they are at the Supreme Court. I will try to get Kevin Starrett on the show in the next couple of days, at least to get a recording from him, to get some kind of response, because I think this is important. But we're going to find out more what happens if you still have a right to own a gun in Oregon. God knows they've been trying to take that right away for a long damn time. And you know who's been trying to fight against it? Is that selfish bastard Kevin Starrett, fighting for his Second Amendment rights and your Second Amendment right too at Oregon Firearms Federation. And if you got some money, this is the group to give to. Don't give to any dirtbag politicians. Please don't give in to any, unless it's a really, really good politician. But I don't know too many of them out there who are really, really good. But if you want to put your money where your mouth is, you really want to get the best bang for your buck, no pun intended, Oregon Firearms Federation is the place to dedicate that money, because they put a lot of that money into fighting for the Second Amendment. And I think that's important to probably anyone who's watching this show. I know it's important to me. And let's see, what else do we got here? The Band and Gun Club, they're not my sponsors, but I highly recommend them because I believe everyone should hone in their firearm skills. You can find out more at the Band and Gun Club at bandandgunclub.org. And of course, they don't have a rifle range at the Band and Gun Club, but you know where they do have one? At the Taiga Sports Park, right there next to the dump, right there on Highway 101. You can find out more at the taigasportspark.org website, and they're always looking for volunteers, and they're probably not open during the rainy season, but that's okay. I like to promote them because they're a good group of guys, and when it does dry up, go to their website at taigasportspark.org and find out when they're going to be opened up so you can go shooting, sight in your telescope. It'd be great. Good stuff going on at the Taiga Sports Park. And let's see, the Coos County Neighborhood Watch. I missed just a couple of days of the Coos County Neighborhood Watch, and then I go back and I realize, wow, there's a lot of crime going on in our county. Damn. There's a lot of people out there committing crimes. Some of you are criminals. Some of you are habitual criminals. And you can see those people on the Coos County Neighborhood Watch. If you live in Coos County, you can see if you could become a member. As long as you're not one of those bleeding heart liberals. If you're one of those bleeding heart liberals who wants to get on there and preach to all of us, you don't understand. It's not their fault that they're criminals, man. Yeah, it's totally their fault. And it's totally their fault that they're druggies. And it's totally their fault that they're in the situation they're in. And it's a lot of bad decisions have led them to the point where they are today. And I get tired of hearing these stories about how we should be compassionate for these career criminals. No. Au contraire, mon frère. Coos County Neighborhood Watch. Well, if you want to find a group that's determined, who's out there, there are people out there actually patrolling Coos County, making sure that this is a safer county. And we are doing a hell of a job. And you can find out some of the stories that are going on out there on Coos County Neighborhood Watch. It's a wonderful website. I mean, not a website, a Facebook page. All of that can be found on Facebook. And let's see, I want to mention Coos County Citizen Council. Chris Castleman was on the show, and he will be on next Wednesday to do his live streaming from the Coos County Citizen Council. They always got good stuff going on there. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in. I want to thank Samantha and Michaela, especially for sending me that stuff. Steve, let's see. Thank you for the disclaimer, brother. No problem, man. It's I got to cover your ass. I tell you what, I got your back, man. I know these people are something else. If you don't, I always have to use the word allegedly a lot. Allegedly, I should start the show out. I should just start the show out. Allegedly, everything I'm saying on the show allegedly happened, and it would just be easier for me and my attorney. And of course, as Steven says, Kevin Starrett rules. Kevin Starrett is the guru of politics here in Oregon, and people don't know how lucky we are to have this man on our side. We are damn lucky, and I am so thankful that he's still here in Oregon, giving us the time of day, because I'm sure he wants to flee this state. He's tired of the BS. He's tired of fighting the nonsense. And it's not that you can even have your day in court, because the system is corrupt. The justice system is corrupt. So even if you get your day in court, more than likely you're going to get screwed over, and we have been so many times in the legal system. So what do you do at that point? What do you do if the elections are rigged? The candidates, well, they're all bought off, paid off, or being blackmailed, and the legal system is completely corrupt. What do you do? Yeah. No. I don't like the answer that I want to come up with. In fact, it's such a bad answer, I don't even want to say it. What do you do when everything in society breaks down? It's not a good picture out there. But that seems to be still where Oregon is going. And when Trump got elected, I thought, wow, we're going to get out of this hole, man. We're going to dig out. But no, hasn't happened. We're still here in this hole in Oregon. And I don't know, folks, I'm trying hard as hell to stay here and to keep my head up high and to fight for, I don't know what, the little that I have, which is very little. And yet this state is trying to take every little bit of it that they can get. And I don't know if it's worth the fight, but I'll keep carrying on as long as you keep carrying on. Carry on.